Welcome back to the SML Podcast. This is the commish corner of SML Talk. I'm here, Field 007 with Primetime 000. And as I said, this is the commish corner. So right now we're going to take a quick look at the SML playoff picture. First Prime, let's talk about the AFC. The Colts, that's you.
Yeah.
You're sitting at what, 13-2?
Right.
Just got to win over Buffalo, who's probably going to be the second seed. I think you and Buffalo and the Chargers have all clinched a divisional spot.
At this point, it's either Buffalo or Chargers at the second seed, with me taking the first seed in the AFC.
What's your prediction? Who was Buffalo second?
I'm going to say Chargers.
You think Chargers going to get that?
Buffalo's a good opponent, too. I guess I'll have to look at the conference standings, and, you got to go with the Chargers, who are better in the AFC right now. So
yeah, they have a better win-to-loss ratio. So basically, if the playoffs started today, you'd have the Colts, you'd have the Bills, Chargers, and Ravens as the top four, with the Steelers and the Jags playing out the wild card.
Right, and I play Jacksonville next. I'm definitely going to play to win, and there's about three teams
on the fringe.
With one loss behind the Chargers, the Steelers and the Jags.
So what do you think is actually going to be? If you had to predict who the two wild card teams would be,
I feel like somehow the Patriots are going to get back involved in the mix. So you can interchange the Jets, Patriots with the Jacksonville and Steelers. There'll be one of those teams will be in it. But going to the NFC, you got Seattle is going to be the first seed. Carolina is going to be the second seed. Giants are going to be the third seed. And after that, it gets a little cloudy. It's a little more clear than the
AFC playoff
picture.
Because the wild cards are nowhere even close. The Saints and the Cowboys are 10-5. The next closest team has 8 losses already. So
you got to look.
We're done here.
It looks like the Giants are going to win their division, and the Cowboys are actually going to be the 5th seed. So the Saints are probably going to be, we're just looking at it's going to be Seahawks, Panthers, Giants, Vikings, right. Saints, Cowboys. That's it. That's the NFC playoffs. So the seeding might be changed.
It might change depending on if the Cowboys or Saints lose.
Right.
If one of those teams lose a game, then they'd obviously be the 6th seed. Unless they both lost, then you're still.
Yeah. And technically, the Cowboys could still win the division and be the 3rd seed. Once again,
and that could happen. But the teams are interchangeable. But the number 1, number 2 seeds are going to be the same. Right. Me and the Panthers are going to have that first round bye, and everything. Everything other than that is interchangeable.
Right.
I am 15-0. I do play the Vikings next week. There's really not much for me to play for at this point, other than try not to lose momentum.
Yeah, you want to go undefeated. It's nice to go undefeated. It does put a little X on your chest. I've gone undefeated. But at the same time, at the end of the day, when you're in the playoffs, if you win the Super Bowl,
it's better to go undefeated. It's better 18-1.
Right. It's better to go. And then another thing is you don't want to go undefeated and lose the Super Bowl. What you remember is winning the Super Bowl, not just having an undefeated season. So that's got to be the goal, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the interesting thing that you think about, if you start looking at the Panthers now, without their top weapon, Demary Byrd,
right,
who nearly eclipsed his previous season stat totals with less amount of games.
Right.
And I think he's going to miss another basically 6 games, so that would put him out for Week 17 wild card weekend. He'd miss the divisional. He missed the conference. He might be back for the Super Bowl.
He might be back for the Super Bowl, and he might be injured or something for the Super Bowl. I don't know, because he's out for 7 games.
And he could probably force him back in the play, because he's got the doctors are going to clear him.
Yeah.
Probably in the divisional or
and
the
there's a bye week before the Super Bowl with the Pro Bowl week.
Right,
so
that's why I said
he should be back for the Super Bowl.
I was tracking him back for the Super Bowl.
Good timing for Jonesy. But there's still a lot of playoff games left to be played, and no disrespect, but his offense has clunked a little bit with the injury of Byrd, so
it makes you question, should there be a Jonesy rule?
Yes.
Seeing how it seems like the majority of his offense, outside of his power run game and play action, really what his dominance seems to stem from are those deep streak routes to Byrd. So maybe the competition committee should get together. We don't know. We're just kind of food for thought there. Yeah. But
should we kick Jonesy?
That's always a topic for discussion. Maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. We'll take a poll.
Right.
But definitely injuries are always a factor. I've lost Luke Wilson, my tight end.
Right.
I think he's been hurt 2 or 3 times this season alone. Paul Richardson's back from injury. That's another guy who's oft injured on my team. Injuries are just kind of crazy, and we've also tuned the injury rating down, and these guys still get hurt. So,
and you don't want to tune it down too much because another thing is like, I'm actually for injuries happening a lot in Madden because in real life, if you look at the injury reports, usually there's like 20 guys on the injury report at a time. I mean, Madden needs to update the injury system. I think guys should play games hurt. And or like you can put them back sooner. I get it that you can put a guy in sooner, but just how the whole questionable, doubtful, probable. There's a lot of stuff that you can.
They need to have more minor injuries.
More minor injuries
that just have a temporary effect, but
right.
I don't know. I guess there's really not a good algorithm for it because then you get the whole thing. They could injure themselves for longer.
Right, but I feel like you could have just stupid injuries, because there's certain guys who get hurt.
Yeah,
and they say this injury won't get worse, at this point. I remember Kobe, and Andrew Luck supposedly,
But that must be a thing they can't program in the game. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it seems like because they can do the injury risk at low, medium, and high. So I'm sure that if they really wanted to, they could. But it's just if EA wants to do the attention to the detail, which sometimes they lack. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Finley came back. Your offense has kind of trended up. He does not have 1,000 yards. Will not have 1,000 yards. No.
He's missed what, 6 games this year?
Yeah, and he still he's got 787 right now, 5.7 yards a clip.
Right.
He's a good young.
So next game I'll need 213 yards from Finley to.
So expect to see Finley.
Yeah, we're gonna try running the ball a lot
and often.
And Luck, good
season.
Good season, respectable season. I'm gonna try to get him.
He's on an MVP race in the.
Yeah, let's take a look at the MVP
NFL
race
right now because for a while there was Cam Newton, the running back that he's got that Will Fork or whatever,
So you got Luck, you got
way.
Wilson.
That's just because I'm undefeated.
Yeah, you got Newton and Roethlisberger, and that's about it. So really it's between Luck, Newton, and Wilson.
And basically, if I win this last game, there's a good chance that Russell Wilson will be
right. And we'll take a look at the stats and see.
He's nowhere close. I know that. My numbers, I've turned it over a lot more the last couple weeks, and
because Roethlisberger has 500 more yards than Luck. He's thrown it 100 more times, but he's got 13 less touchdowns and
more interceptions.
11 more interceptions, whereas Newton has 36 touchdowns and
20 interceptions.
So Luck's got the most touchdowns in the.
He's got the best touchdown interception ratio
and completion percentage, whereas Newton, you can compare Newton and Roethlisberger.
Right.
They're both great players, and Wilson, 28 touchdowns, 15 picks, 71 completion percentage, and maybe if he has a big game next week, 4,000 yards. So yeah, I mean it could be any of those 3 guys for the MVP. Usually it's a quarterback. So I guess we'll see what happens.
The leading rusher right now is probably the Panthers, would be my guess.
No, Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon.
D-Rock, he's going to be second seed possibly. He runs the rock.
Peterson jumped in there.
Oh yeah, Adrian Peterson's a monster.
So we want to talk about Peterson jumping in there. That all stems from last week against the Bears, in which the Vikings trounced the Chicago Bears. So was that 62-28?
Yeah, that was
he had over nearly 300 yards rushing, 4 rushing touchdowns. It was kind of a crazy game on paper.
All right.
I'm a little nervous playing Minnesota. I honestly think that they will probably be the team that bounces me after I've seen that. Let's take a look at the receiving leaders here. I
think George Mangum of Seattle leads the league. Wow. He's got 93 catches. So if you have 7 more catches, you could have a 100-catch receiver, which doesn't happen that much in
Madden.
That means you feed him the ball a lot. So we'll see. Can he do it? Probably. I feel like that could be a goal for Seattle. Just depends if you want to have a receiver with 100 yards or try to go for 100 catches or the undefeated season more. Let's just take a look at the defensive stats here.
Defensively, if you look at interceptions, obviously your boy Lewis.
Oh yeah, Lamar Lewis,
the guy you use or cover, which you're notorious for those units that are interceptions. He has 13 picks. Sean Davis is out there. DRC,
Bobby
Wagner somehow throwing his hat in the ring.
Earl Thomas. So, you got just typical guys, usually leading the league, a lot of great players. And kicking, and this is something I want to add to. Field goal percentage wise, we got to have them at least attempt 15 kicks or something because these guys only kicked 5 times. So right off the bat, you've got Gostowski of the Jags, 13 of 13. Dan Bailey, 22 of 22. I mean, that's great kicking.
Tucker even, 21 of
22. Yeah, 21 of 22. I mean, you got a lot of great guys who, make a lot of kicks. When kicking's a big deal in
Yeah,
Madden
when it's
these
on the
days.
line, they're
And
not screwing up.
An extra point, we actually have a big chunk of guys who've made all their extra points this year, actually. So, yeah, that's impressive.
Some of these guys are kicking a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of guys who make all their extra points. Because I remember early in Madden, I was missing extra points left and right and up and down. So
yeah,
kicking's kind of smoothed itself out a little bit compared to earlier in the year.
All right. Well, I guess before we move on to the NFL, right now, as we sit, SML Super Bowl prediction.
Ooh. NFC, probably you got to go with the first two seeds, either you or Jonesy. Jonesy's the current champ. So it'll be a battle between you two.
And what about the AFC?
I'm trying to seek out redemption, so we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of great guys. It's hard to just say, one team. But
well, I'm going to go ahead and say this here. It's going to be a Super Bowl rematch. It's going to be the Panthers versus the Colts. Jonesy's going to come in and give me issues like he always does. Defensively, he's always got such a good game plan. He attacks well. And then he's going to come unhinged with the running game and take me apart with play action and exploit me in ways that I didn't feel my legs were open.
Right.
So, yeah, and honestly, the last several games, you've kind of shown your dominance within the SML. So, yeah, I'm going back with the Panthers and the Colts again for my SML Super Bowl.
We'll see. There's a lot of things that can happen. Still plenty of games to be played.
Yeah, it's always good to go with the Peyton Manning humble answers during an interview, but this is a spicy talk. This was our hot corner. All right, now we're moving on to the NFL. Basically, my bracket's done.
Yeah.
Interesting development here. Your prediction of a Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl, if you go back a couple of podcasts weeks ago when we first did this, I believe when Eagles Space Ghost White was still an owner. He was part of that talk. I mean, we talk about every podcast, and you picked the Falcons and the Patriots way back when.
Way back when, and I picked, I really picked Dallas over Green Bay. I picked Green Bay over Dallas. My NFC bracket was great. I don't think I missed a prediction all the playoffs. I'd have to go back and look at it, but looking back at it, I think Atlanta's just got a lot of firepower. New England's great. I love Tom Brady, but you got to take Atlanta. I think they're riding on energy right now, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'd pick New England and Dallas as my Super Bowl teams, but obviously that didn't quite pan out right. The way that New England dismantled the first two teams this year and the way they dismantled people since Tom Brady came back, I think that first week was against Cleveland.
Yeah,
he came back and threw a couple touchdowns.
Bad. I don't know who's playing that one out.
Obviously every time you give the Patriots motivation to come back, like Spygate, I'm pretty sure that's the year they came and had that huge undefeated season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
Other than the fact that
the season.
But
still, that was one of the greatest teams ever.
Yeah, and now they're doing it with not the greatest team ever. I know people want to say that Hogan and this guy are, which they are talented. They're in the NFL, but they're not elite wide receivers. These aren't guys with a true Randy Moss mismatch athletic talent.
And Tom Brady's doing it in a different way than he was 5 years. Well, no, more than 10 years
more
ago
dink
now.
and dunk.
A lot more quick. He's getting older, but he's still, still taking his shots down the field and taking hits still. And compared to last, and that shows the last time they went this dominant, because the last time they won the Super Bowl was the year against who was it? Who did they beat in the Super Bowl a few years back?
Oh, that was the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, yeah. They weren't that dominant that year, I feel like. But when they went to the Super Bowl undefeated, Tom Brady was just beaming them down the field to Moss.
Right.
They looked really dynamic. But this year, they've just been a consistent juggernaut running the ball.
Now their defense is kind of joked since the last half of the year.
Yeah. They traded off Jamie Collins, a typical Belichick move. Knew he wasn't going to re-sign him. Got third-round pick out of him or something. Just another Belichick move. So, I mean, they're primed to be great in the future. I think they have they could trade off Garoppolo, probably get a first-round pick out of him, and then have 2 first-round draft picks and, set up the team for when Brady's gone.
Yeah, I still think that this is going to be it. I think Tom Brady's going to go ahead and win the Super Bowl and cement himself as the greatest quarterback of all time.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I'm picking New England over Atlanta.
I think Atlanta is going to win, but I think Tom Brady's the GOAT already.
That's obviously something that's going to be disputed with the fact, but he does have 4 Super Bowls at this point in time.
Right.
So if he gets his 5th,
then
I don't think there's any questioning that he's, then he'll stand above Joe Montana, above the rest of these guys. And the fact that I know it is more of a passing league, and there's always going to be debates. Oh, well, it's a different time. How can you? The numbers are going to be the numbers. He's going to have 5 Super Bowls. He's going to have this, maybe not go down the greatest statistical quarterback. Just depends on how many more years he plays. Right. Plays at a high level, but still, he's going to keep getting the job done.
And the whole people that say it tainted legacy with the cheating stuff are just idiots. I mean, I'm a Colts fan. I don't like the Patriots, but I mean, obviously deflating the football hasn't really affected them. You can go down the list. Spygate, feel like they've been more consistent since Spygate than they were beforehand, So it's like you can go down the list of everything they've done, and it's like afterward they've been better, So Tom Brady's just the greatest of all time. People hate greatness. You can go back a few podcasts. People just hate him because he's great, and that's just Tom Brady for you. So anyway, did you have anything else for this vlog or a podcast, or talk about the Panthers, talk about somebody else, or?
Yeah, to be honest with you, we're going to have a couple quick closing points here. One being, I remember you're a freak when it comes to shoe collection.
Oh yes.
Some people would say it's almost euphoric how excited you get about Kobe shoes.
Oh, yes.
I remember how much in earnest you tried to get a faded black Kobe shoe.
Right.
And how we both tried to get you a pair of shoes.
Right.
And how instantly they were sold out. How we tried to do the drawings and all this BS to go to these shoes. What can you tell me and the rest of the people that know about your shoe fetish?
Right, yeah. Well, I guess the Fade to Black, it was a collection released weeks before Kobe's last game. And, Kobe has a model of shoe like an iPhone, if you're not familiar with shoes, 1 through 11 with Nike. So every, week or so before his last game, it was sequential order. They'd release a white pair of Kobe 1s and a little bit, more gray pair of Kobe 2s. All the way till his last shoe, which he wore on court, was the Kobe 11, and it was all black, and it just had a gold Nike check mark, which he wore in his last game, put up 60 points and won. So that shoe was, of course, impossible to get because it was his last shoe. Finally, after, that was in April of this 2016, we're in January of 2017. Patience paid off. The shoe goes for between $700 and $1,200. Got it for about $275. Got a steal. I actually got an email today that it was authenticated. It's coming my way. It'll be here on
Are you sending it for authentication?
Yeah, and it'll be back on Thursday. I actually bought it through a company that has to authenticate it. So, it's good. It's 100% legit. Somebody just didn't know what they had. So, so I got a pair coming in the mail. I'll have to shoot a picture on GroupMe when I have it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how, when a guy gets ready to retire or whatever the case may be, and pretty much any kind of sports item, but when things become somewhat limited or somewhat special, how eBay can drive the price of something like the Nintendo Wii when there was that hysteria. NES or probably Nintendo Switch, which is kind of what I want to talk about next. I do plan on buying a Nintendo Switch. I think it's kind of an innovative idea, the fact that it's a standard console, but then you can take it off and take it on the go. And that $300, it's not a major, and it's not like they're saying shit. We want $500, $600, $700 for this thing. They're still staying within a reasonable, what do you want to call it?
Price range, I guess.
Yeah, for a middle class, that's what I was looking for. For middle class income people, $300 isn't that bad. And GameStop's got some bundles for $400 something. Now, this was something else I was looking to purchase when I upgraded my TV. I bought a 4K TV. Then I was going to get the PS4 Pro, and then I was going to get the PlayStation VR. Well, this week there have been reports, and there have been a few videos that I've watched on YouTube about the PS4 VR already falling off the map. It's already like the latest gimmick to
I kind of figured the
crash.
VR was going to crash. It's just anytime Sony or Microsoft, they always do it. They'll come out with something that like the PlayStation Move or the Kinect.
Right. Well, those were true gimmicks though. This is actually a VR headset. VR's been talked about for years about being that next.
It's just not at the point where it's got the support.
It's not economical at $500 for the headset.
No, because you buy the plate, you got over $1,500.
They're just not utilizing it, and there's not a whole lot of games.
What you need is a company who makes just the VR system.
Right, that's why you got the Oculus Rift, and you got the HTC or whatever the hell the other one is. I can't think of it at the moment.
And a company who I thought would be great in the gaming industry would be Apple, who just always is coming out.
Yeah, they did. That's kind of surprising, the fact they've never dabbled.
But they kind of remind me of Nintendo a little bit, simple stuff. And I feel like Apple could dominate, just come out with some, I don't know if it'd be VR or something, but I mean, when you look at the companies who actually do gaming, besides Nintendo, I mean, Sony and Microsoft, I mean, those aren't like, you would think like Samsung or people like that. I mean, these companies, they're not who you kind of expect. So Apple and Google, who, are great, big time billion dollar companies, who could dabble into the gaming industry and possibly take it to another level. So I guess we'll just have to see. I don't know if there's even rumblings about that. I just made that up. That they'd be good for the gaming, gamers
Well,
everywhere.
it sounded like good news to me. It sounded like a
yeah.
usual news ploy. Comment below. Should I buy a drone? That's my other thing.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
kind
buy
of
a
looking at
drone.
one of them DJ, whatever the hell they are, like $1,200.
Yeah, because you got to go big. You
They're,
can't buy
they're
crap.
No, I ain't gonna buy a shit drone and then have to buy something different. But they're kind of interesting. My thing is, how much would I actually use
Well,
it?
yeah, that's why I was gonna buy one, and I'm
But I
like,
don't
I'm
know.
gonna film some stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like just like anything like that, you don't use it that much.
No, it would be kind of neat though. Like when you guys play football,
Oh,
if I
yeah.
sat there and recorded it, I think that'd be kind of cool to do that this
And
summer.
just like driving throughout the
But,
property and
doing some different kind
doing
of
just
videos.
cool scene shots,
And then
making
you
cool
could do
videos.
like commentary type stuff. But I don't know. Comment below. Should I buy a drone? I guess also this is my time to make a plug here. We mentioned Josh's foot fetish or shoe fetish, whatever. Maybe he is
Right.
like who got made fun of a couple years ago for the foot fetish. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
I think it's Wes Welker called somebody out, or someone
Yeah.
had called somebody out for a foot fetish. Rex Ryan.
Yeah, Rex Ryan.
Rex
was
Ryan
all
got called
weird
out for the
about
foot
feet.
fetish. So anyway, about Prime's foot fetish, shoe fetish. I have a fetish of my own. That's my YouTube channel where I kind of vlog about my cars. I've got a video where I've done my exhaust on my truck. I've added a cover. I've done a windshield, and I got some other mods planned. I've got a Camaro that I do some vlogging with. I got a Harley I do some vlogging with. I talk about, week to week videos about shows like Supergirl, Gotham, Arrow, Flash, etc. Be sure to check that out. Links will be in the description. That is County Roads 574. So if you guys haven't yet, check that channel out. It would help me out. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you do check it out. As well, since you're on this video and you've watched it for the 20 plus minutes, I don't know why you haven't hit subscribe yet. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Comment below if you enjoy this. If we're retards, I don't care. Comment below. That helps us out. Be sure to smash that thumbs up and have a great day.